Hello everybody, what is up? It's Electrify here, and I recently got into an online real estate salesperson. I mean, I know, shocking, but you never know until you try. God damn it! I accidentally bought a yodeling pickle for $1,000. My hand must have slipped the enter button this entire time. How am I able to afford $1,000 worth of a yodeling pickle off of Amazon? Oh hey, a suspiciously timed phone.
Hey, how do you do, kid?
What's up, ass face?
Well, I've been calling up on randoms, and I had stumbled across your number. It'll be an honor if you could just do one small business favor for me.
Are you doing this so I can find an excuse to talk about 2.2 news again?
It's only for $1,000.
Well, here I am for the 10th time. Welcome aboard to yet another 2.2 release news. Last episode we talked about RobTop had showed us a cool feature that allowed us to effortlessly copy and paste in templates onto your structures. But now, let's talk about some more icons. First up on the list, we got a ton of icons, like holy sh**. That is a ton of icons you got there, Chief. First one we got is this icon. It's an icon of what it seems to be a clenched up fist.
No Sherlock?
I mean, yeah, but what else can I say about these? The other icons that there is some checkerboard design, which is honestly a pretty cool design. The other one is some monster face thing, like what the f even is this? This one looks like an EXO logo, which all I can say is nice logo. This one is a decent design to it, not much else to it. Kind of find the little stick at the corner a bit jarring, but alright then. And lastly, the robot icon. To be honest, these icons are pretty decently well made, but there's nothing else I can say about these. I mean, they're just icons. I wouldn't be complaining as much, but that's all we got as of June or July. There's literally absolutely nothing new from Rata as of recently.
Actually, it's December now, and RobTop just posted a bunch of stuff. You lazy fat ass.
First up we got is when Lithfuse asked RobTop if the iPad Pro, which has 120Hz, can be able to play on 2.2. RobTop responded with a fat yes, confirming that yes, you can play iPad Pro in 2.2 on 120Hz. Nothing huge or insane at all, but that's pretty nice to have that. On early August, RobTop posted something quite interesting to the GD Discord server. He posted a video unlisted called Smooth, which are robot animations running in different styles. One of the robots running a downward slope, the second one has an upward slope, and the last one shows a robot running in a weird way, which honestly is the most hilarious one to me, to be honest. I just love how goofy this one looks. There's yet another video that Robert Tapala has uploaded. Holy crap, is that Naruto? Yeah, apparently RobTop had a custom animation made for the spider to where now he's practically Naruto running through a level at 4 times speed. This isn't anything mind-blowing, but it's honestly pretty hilarious to see something as random as a Naruto running spider. It's nice to see something like this being added onto Geom Trash. Another thing to point out is that you can barely see the spider about to run into the spikes at the fade out the video. It literally caught me off guard and made me chuckle a little bit. RobTop mentioned that he wanted to take a break from programming, so he made this. However, he's considering on making a fun unlockable icon for the spider, which I personally want to see it happen just for the laughs. Another small thing that RobTop vaguely mentions is that there's more story in 2.2, presumably the story that follows up the vaults and the monster in the basement. Just a tiny note to imply that Robert Tapala isn't just abandoning the storyline given to the vaults and monsters in 2.1. Much like I invented the map pack. Later on, Peter suggested RobTop to add the ability to refresh players' profiles, as people have trouble exiting the game and rejoining the game only to refresh their profiles. RobTop agreed with Peter by saying, yeah, me too, we'll try to add it, which confirms that we will be having a neat little refresh button for our profiles in 2.2. Personally, I don't see an issue with this feature, and it's a minor annoyance having to go to leave the game and join back just to refresh a profile. Yeah, that can be annoying, so I'm glad this is going to be fixed in the next update. Another comment RobTop made later on has to do with the story mode, a mode dedicated to, presumably, platform mode, where RobTop confirms that yes, we are going to get checkpoints in story mode, which makes my assumption on it being platform mode a lot more sense. I wouldn't think that the game plays right off an automatic checkpoint, so I would assume this has to do with platformer in some way. One really interesting thing that RobTop pointed out was the addition of a new replay system. Because Everyday has been shut down for years now, RobTop has been secretly coding in his own replay system to capture footage. A user named Sakupinhell asked to Robert if there was going to be any new replay system to record footage, especially on mobile. RobTop confirmed that and said the following: new replay system based on action, so not video recording. Technically, you should be able to press a button and view the attempt you just made, but not sure if it will work. Still testing. But right now, it doesn't cost any performance, so that's good. Holy sh**. That is insane for just a simple alternative for just a simple screen recorder. Just imagine how this can save many captures and lost footages of beaten levels. I always hated it when I beat a level that I'm proud of, only to realize that I have not been recording the entire time. Alongside this, he also claimed to not cost any performance, which is also good, considering that every play slightly made things lag on some levels. At least that's what I've been remembered with every play. Overall, I'm pretty excited to see this replay system come onto 2.2. It may not look as interesting, but I always missed every play, so seeing a way better alternative is always great to see. On September the 17th, RobTop came out with suggestions onto the server. The first suggestion that RobTop took was an Among Us icon, which I don't even know how to react to that. I mean, it's another icon, but this time around it takes major inspiration of Among Us, which is a game that needs no introduction. There was also more suggestions taken by other members, so much so that there is a whole list of newer suggestions being added onto GD. The list is as follows. Among Us icons, banana ship, bunny icon, troll face, Amazon spider, donut ball, hold up. Ahegao ball. Ahegao ball? What? Yeah, I have no idea why Ahegao ball is listed on here, but yeah, sure, you do you, Rob. Also, there's hot dog. I have no idea what that could mean. Probably a new ship, but whatever. Paper plane ship, square wave, cyclic rabbit icon, and carrot. Wait, hold up. Cyclic rabbit icon? You mean this cyclic rabbit icon? That one? That's absolutely insane. This carrot wave and cyclist rabbit icon is from a texture pack that was well known back in 1.9, and seeing it possibly happening in GD is honestly kind of surreal. I'm sort of lost for words about how to react to it. It's just, whoa. But anyways, RobTop will also try to implement Discord rich presence in 2.3.
What now?
Well, silly goose, let me explain what that is. Dumbass.
Ass face.
Dang. On Discord, you can see people check out what game they are playing, but with supported rich presence, you're able to see what exactly the user in Discord is doing. MegaHackThesis has already implemented rich presence onto GD to Discord, showing what level I'm playing with the ID, or what level I'm creating with the amount of objects. It's a pretty neat feature to implement, especially those who do not have MegaHackV6, as people can check out whatever level they are playing or creating. Later on, RobTop released a new effect by showcasing onto a user level. This effect is pretty cool to see, much like it was made on After Effects, to be honest. The effect has this ripple effect. Alongside, it has some RGB splitting onto it too. It kind of looks sick to see in action. Not sure how you were able to add this onto the GD level editor, but if the effect is on the editor, then holy moly, that's honestly a really cool effect to see it happen, especially on the user level like that. 2 days later, Jesus Christ, so many clips. Yeah, RobTop went on a spree of just uploading effects one after the other, and a ton of things I have to explain. So just to spice things up, I'm going to give out a rating based on each effect. So without further ado, here we go. So the first effect that RobTop showed was this effect on GD main menu. The effect shows a fish lens perspective with some bouncy motion. This effect is pretty interesting, as I can sort of see how people may use this onto GD levels. I definitely would try experimenting with this one, to be honest. 3 out of 5 for me, Chief. The next one we got is this one. This one is a ripple effect going on, similar to the RGB splitting effect early on, but unlike the other one, this one seems to be much more intense on the effect, and adds a more wavier motion to it. It's pretty weird and trippy to see it like that. Hopefully when we get an access to those effects, we may be able to mess around with the intensity of the ripple effect. Overall, this one is also a needle effect, but I don't know, it's nothing too special, so I don't really know. This one gets a 2 out of 5 on me. Now this one is pretty cool. The effect shows a spherized pulsing effect shown onto the video with some snappy zooming going in and out. I can definitely see this one being added onto drops and levels, where the drop of the song syncs up to the beat of the song, or when the drop hits and leaves off a huge impact on the level. And considering there's going to be camera controls being added later on into the level, this one is one of the better effects I've seen so far. 4 out of 5 for me. The last effect I want to show you is this one. This effect, I honestly don't know what this effect could be. This might be an inverted spherized effect with some ripples onto it. I don't even know. This one looks alright as well. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Pretty cool to see him in the game, so I'll give this one a solid 3 out of 5. Now, there are some things that I did not mention in these clips, so pay attention. Before I do that, remember how I said moments ago that hopefully we will get these effects in the GD editor? Well, Rodtop actually commented about that. He said, yes, you can activate effects and control the speed, power, etc. like the shake trigger, but with more options. This means that we are going to get these as a sort of effect trigger, perhaps. Nevertheless, I'm pretty certain now that we're going to get these effects onto 2.2 levels now, which should be absolutely insane to see. But anyways, back onto the clips that we just saw. On the first clip that we saw, you can see that he went to the GD main levels menu for a few seconds. If you paid attention at the bottom of the screen, you probably noticed that there's now 24 dots on the main levels menu. As of now, we only have 22 dots in the main levels menu, which theoretically means that not only are we getting explorers implemented onto 2.2 already, but there's also another level coming onto 2.2. People theorize that this new level might be Firebird, a level that was leaked when data miners went through some of GD's recent codes. On top of that, there was a lot of data around Firebird to be considered a trick for data miners, as Rodtop claimed, so this may be the second newest level that we're looking for. Another thing to point out are the icons flying on the main menu. There are several newer icons that we haven't looked at before, one of which seems to be looking like a stormtrooper from Star Wars. Another one that we got to see from the sneak peek is a new ship. This ship seems to be having a face from the front with a wide mouth halfway open and a brushy tail at the end. The next icon we got is this fellow icon. Honestly, I don't even know what to make of for this icon. This might be an already existing icon that we have, but let me know in the comments if you have a clear image of this one. I can't really tell for certain on what to make out of this one. And the last one we have is this icon. This one appears to have an angry skull-shaped design with a little tail on its end. I don't know why, but I kind of like this icon in my opinion. I don't know, it's an icon that isn't even facing the front, it's facing to the right, and it looks grim and dark. Aside from icons, we've noticed multiple things coming from these clips. In this clip, you can see a YouTube video being played in sync with the effects shown in the video. The video in speculation is actually MAGA's remix of Ass Like That by Eminem. This raises several questions. Can the effects be supported by audio feedback? Are the effects based on the low frequency / subs of the songs? Why does Rodtop like house music so much? And is the song going to be the second level for 2.2? Well, unfortunately, Paz clarified this by saying that there's no sync to music in game and that he's just playing music in the background. So there goes that. And one last thing, on this clip specifically, you can notice some file names appearing at the top. More specifically, pixelate.fsh, chromatic.fsh, and shockwave.fsh. Are these the potential names given to these effects? In a way, it makes sense, however, I don't see where the effects lie, unless if Rob is hiding more effects later on. But alas, that's the stuff that I and a few others have noticed with these clips specifically. Anyways, this month we got more messages from Rob. He said this: I play on a 120Hz screen with in-game FPS set to 240. Smoothest setting I have found, and G-Sync disabled. Not sure why that flows with any lag. Tested some Android 2, everything is running smooth in 2.2. All these messages probably means that there are going to be no performance issues onto 2.2 for PC users and on mobile, which is great to see considering I would have assumed that it was going to run GD horribly, but fear no more. So anyways, how and when are you going to pay me that grand?
I don't know. When are you going to stop asking for it?
I don't like you. So anyways, Rodtop a couple of days ago has been sharing some drawings about new ratings, and I gotta say, the easy godlike face looks like he's on crack. These newer ratings are called Legendary and Godlike. Rodtop also said that these Legendary ratings will give out 4 creator points, and Godlike will give out 5 creator points. A lot of people are debating whether or not this would affect creator point farmers and ruin Geometry Dash. However, in response, Rodtop said this: yeah, well, Godlike will almost never happen, but it's fun if it happens a few times a year. Honestly, I think it's fine to give out Godlike ratings a few times per year, and it creates more value onto a level. It also creates a new competition towards building and creating, if it means that we're going to strive to get that Godlike creating, which honestly makes GD a much better place. The downside to this is that it is going to create a toxic environment around the GD creating community, as there's going to be more competition as to what new standards people might have. RawTop also shared some different variation of the godlike rating. This variation has the icon color inverted, and I don't like this one. I never liked inverted colors. I don't know, it just seems unappealing to the eyes, and it just looks super off for rating as good as godlike. However, the last one he showed is the normal face with the blue fire around it, and this one I can definitely get behind. I don't know, I just prefer the normal icons with the blue fire around it and more than the rest. I don't need to see different effects onto ratings, especially when they look nice. Plus, I don't want to see how Extreme Demon Godlike ratings go. They're going to look terrifying with Godlike. RawTop also gave out a new image and asked which version is better. Everyone in the chat mostly chose 5 or 1, and I can see why. I mean, I prefer 5 more than 1 though. I don't know, the 5th one looks much better to me compared to the rest, but I don't mind having the first one either. Since most agreed to pick the 5th one, Rob decided to pick the 5th one as the new Godlike rating, meaning we're most certainly getting the 5th sprite as our sprite for the Godlike rating. Also, I just realized something. If a demon got a godlike rating, would it be weird to call a godlike demon? I don't know, just a weird thought. Anyways, getting sidetracked here, RawTop also mentioned about something in regards to optimization later down the line after 2.2. He says that in 2.3, there will be advanced options for optimizations before starting a level, like an ultra low detail mode, no shaking, and even no backgrounds in boss fights. Honestly, I kinda enjoy Rob putting out bigger solutions for optimizations, as long as it's easy to use for creators, especially when it's being played on mobile. It's never fun to see 2.2 run like 5 frames a second, but it's always nice to see Robert looking for solutions in a neat little option menu. Later on, people were mentioning something along the lines of multiplayer onto Geometry Dash. RawTop came along and stated this: multiplayer for GD will be cool in platform levels, but I would probably take in another programmer for something like that. So, RawTop is now considering platformer mode to be included in multiplayer. This is an interesting viewpoint to see how multiplayer mode would come along, but I feel worried that implementing this will furthermore delay 2.2, to be honest. This feels like a lot more complex to code, and it will probably take him a while to finish him off. I don't know, but either way, I'm interested in how a platform mode would be for multiplayer. 2 days later, RawTop came on, messed around with the chat a little bit, and then said this: I actually had some t-shirts made. I will sell it at some point. So yeah, RawTop is actually planning on making some sweet t-shirts and GD merch overall. I would probably buy 1 or 2 of these things if it looks nice on me, and also if it doesn't make me look like a clown at school. If the t-shirt designs look neat, I'd definitely buy it for sure. He's also thinking about making plushies and collectibles that have a chance of having code for an icon. That is honestly kind of a cool addition to have. I like me some goody collectibles and geeky stuff, so seeing GD plushies and collectibles with code on them is such a neat little idea for me. Plus, I just really want an Electrify plushie to have it with me all the time. Like that's ever gonna happen. One cool thing that RawTop did mention was this message. FunkyKong45 had asked Robert if random triggers are going to be able to move, pulse, and toggle things. And to that, Topala replied that random triggers are going to act like toggle triggers. This means that when you link the group ID with the target of the trigger, it will give up a random chance for it to actually activate. At least that's my suspicion of it all. RawTop drew a concept art for a potential enemy in platform mode. Honestly, these things look so adorable, and I generally don't even want them to be a part of an enemy. If I can get a plushie of these enemies, then I will bless Papa RawTop for eternity. God bless. But for real though, it looks hella cute, and I gladly see this being added onto the game. One last thing to point out is a new pixel art sprite sheet for flames. These flames kind of look pretty sick, and I'm not sure if this is going to be a preset for the editor, but it would be nice regardless of seeing being added onto the GD editor. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to discuss about for 2.2 release news. There's so much to talk about, like the robot animations, right up to the new ratings that Robert introduced to. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything we have in store for now.
Wait, what do you mean that's everything?
Well, what are you talking about?
Dude, have you even seen his Twitch yet? It's insane. I was watching his whole entire stream and RawTop just practically did a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I'm just gonna... How to get a therapist... Wait, hold up a minute. Before I end off the video, I want to quickly mention a few things. Firstly, based on my last 2.2 release news, only 8% of people who watch my last 2.2 news has only subscribed to my channel.
It's probably because you only post 2.2 news and only 2.2 news. You know, maybe you should expand your content.
Oh my gosh, shut the f up! Okay, but for real though, let's try to make that bar look good by helping a boy out, you know? Plus, you'll get access to the freshest 2.2 clickbait on the block, so why not consider subscribing? It'll really help out my channel, and I'm getting close to 10k subs, so yeah, hopefully we can reach that. Secondly, in case you didn't know, I have a Discord server, and it's filled to the brim with the latest 2.2 news, so if you want to be informed early about some 2.2 news, be sure to join in and chat around. I'm mostly going to be active there, so why not talk to me on the server? But anyways, without further ado, bye-bye.